The Chargers have a unique opportunity going into Foxborough this weekend to play the Patriots in the wild card round. What are they going to need to do to get a victory in the playoffs, get Herbert's first victory, and what are the keys to victory and what our predictions are going to be for the game? Let's get into it. Playoffs, wild card, number 7 versus number 2. I got my guy Young RG with me today to break down this victory that we're going to get. I'm calling it.
Shit.
I'm calling it victory for the Chargers this week. They've got a really good opportunity, and I'm going to call Harbaugh a mastermind for waiting for finagling himself into the 7th seed to play the Patriots instead of having to face the juggernaut of the Texans or the Jaguars. So, yeah, man, it is put up or shut up. It's go time, win or go home. You know, wild card weekend, super wild card weekend, as the NFL likes to coin it nowadays. And you got to get it done. Got to get it done. Cold weather, nighttime, prime time, undefeated in prime time. Let's keep it rolling, man. Let's keep it rolling. I think all the stars are alive for us to get this victory. I'm just feeling that way.
Oh, man. Yeah, I really hope you're right, Coach. I'm definitely, maybe my past trauma as a Chargers fan, especially come playoff time, is maybe eating away at me a little bit. But yeah, I mean, this was the best matchup for the Chargers out of all the AFC playoff teams that they could have gotten, of course, with the division winners. I guess you can maybe argue the Steelers, but once we had lost to the Texans, this was by far the best way moving forward. This is looking way, way ahead of it. So everybody just calm down. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but just looking ahead, should the Chargers pull this off and get this win in New England, it's a guaranteed divisional matchup with the Broncos the next following in the divisional. And we all know divisional games in the divisional, in the playoffs, hey, throw seedings out the window, man.
Out the door. Throw it out. Indeed. So yes, so like I said, looking ahead, where things line up, if they play the Cards as best as they possibly could, because if they win this week and play the Broncos, again, beat them early in the season, played our backers against them, they barely beat us in that matchup. I like our chances in that matchup again, and then you may have to face one of those teams that you are dreading in the Texans or the Jaguars if they make it that far. I mean, hell, the Bills can run the table and it's all for naught, right? But
before it's the Steelers.
Oh, right. Who knows? Anybody's ball game. But yes. So you want to be able to, line your cards up the proper way and not have to, fight uphill too hard. So I think that with them going to New England, facing a team that's very inexperienced in the playoffs, not a rookie quarterback, but a second-year guy, he played like MVP, but you got to put an asterisk towards it, in my opinion, because that schedule was super sweet. That schedule was super cushy. So he got a lot of opportunities to, I won't say pad his stats, but he didn't have to face the juggernauts, that we had to face with the AFC, NFC West had to face, when fighting Matthew Stafford for the MVP. So yeah, it's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a good one. And that first game is always nervous. That pressure mounts. Everything's on your shoulders. You're either gonna be the talk of the town or the goat of the farm. So yeah, man, it's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a good one. I definitely believe that. Can't wait to get to Sunday night and put my jersey on and for 3 hours or so, bask in the playoff glory that is Chargers football. But yeah, so we're gonna get into the game. We're gonna talk about the weather. We're gonna talk about the injury report. We're gonna talk about what we feel like our keys to victory are. I'll give our predictions. So let's get into the weather report, because a lot of people are talking on social media about the weather, and I'll preface this by saying this. I know it's gonna be cold. It's in the upper eastern part of the country, where it's naturally cold at this time of year. 34 degrees at kickoff. Somewhat a little bit of wind, but no rain. Doesn't appear they're gonna have any rain in this situation. So just gonna be cold. Now, if anybody is concerned about the weather, I will harken back to the Chiefs game a few weeks ago. It was very cold, in Arrowhead, and frigid temperatures in that matchup. And the Chargers not only played well, but they played physical football in that matchup. So if you're concerned about them playing, in cold weather environments and being effective, affecting their ability to, get things done, I think that Chiefs game can put that to bed. So I believe that particular aspect of it shouldn't be a factor. If it was raining, snow, that affects anybody. It doesn't, not just a one weather team, that affects anybody. So yeah, 34 degree game. I'm not concerned. I'm not concerned at all. So I think that it's going to be that's null and void in my opinion. What do you think, RG?
Yeah, I'm right there in agreement with you. I don't really put too much stock into the weather unless it's, barring heavy rain, snow, like you mentioned, or heavy winds, that really puts a damper on the kicking game. And then you really got to, offenses really got to tidy up and can't really be so reliant on just field position. You got to focus on putting it in the end zone. So I don't see it, people want to talk. People love talking in any which way, trying to get the other team, the other fan base riled up. In my opinion, weather is not the way you want to do it. Like you mentioned, this Chargers team is extremely physical, extremely tough. They, like you said, that KC game, that was probably, the coldest game I think we played all season.
It was.
And that might have been our most physical game of the entire season. It ultimately, of course, the Mahomes injury and whatnot, but that ultimately ended the Chiefs' playoff hopes right then and there. It was a must win to try to even stay relevant. And of course, they needed some help, but Chargers putting a stop to that right away. And yeah, I don't see this defense missing a beat. We'll talk about the offense because, some potential injuries. But yeah, I really don't see this defense. We get Perriman back, who is our big thumper, run stuffer linebacker. So I really like the defense's chances this game for sure.
I love it. I share those sentiments for sure. So yeah, I don't think the weather's gonna be a big deal. Like I said, it's just gonna be 34 degrees. And once you put that long sleeve on and get to sweating a little bit, not a factor. Not a factor.
Yeah.
If it was raining or snowing, then yeah, we could talk about it. But I wouldn't be worried, Chargers fans, if you're concerned about the weather at all. That's just our recommendations, being long-term Chargers fans.
Yep, absolutely.
Indeed. But getting on to the injury report, some things to talk about here. Some good news and some bad news, potentially in this particular space. Let's do the bad news first. I think we're looking at a game without Keandre Lambert-Smith first and foremost with that hamstring injury from the Broncos game. I think him not practicing at all on the past few days is an indicator that he's likely not going to play. There's rumors they might be done for the season. That's severe of an injury, but we'll see. Hamstrings are always tricky, as everybody knows at this point. If you've been watching football for a while, soft tissue injuries are tricky. So I think we're going to be without his kick returning services, nothing else this week, which was a bummer for me because I did like him back there. With him and Darius Davis, I think they gave us use back there. But yeah, so I think we're going to be without him. Marion Hampton hasn't practiced at all either. I thought it was a precautionary thing last week when he was on the injury report all week, just to hold him out for rest, but it looks as if he might have tweaked it in the game before that. It looks like he had another issue with his ankle. So, RG, do you know if it's the same ankle? I'm trying to remember what
it is. I do know that it is not the same ankle. Thankfully, it is the other one that obviously he suffered that broken ankle in week 5. I want to say it was against the Giants.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or Commanders. Yeah. Commanders. So yeah, I really, thankfully it's not the same ankle, but I guess that's kind of a two-way knife because at the same time it's like, damn, now he's got injuries. If he does play in this game, he's coming off of 2 ankle injuries. That's really tough, especially for a running back of his caliber, especially for this team where we do nothing but run the ball outside because it's impossible to do it with this trash O-line in between the tackles. So he's using that change of direction. He's, hard stepping on those ankles. So it's going to be definitely something to watch. And if he's held out for this game, man, that's definitely going to put a bit of a damper on things.
Yeah, and I think we talked about this pre-show that if he does play, it might be in a limited capacity. Might use him as sparingly as we possibly can. Mix and match with him and Vidal, in a true 50-50 or 60-40 role maybe. But we'll see. We'll monitor the injury report throughout the week and see if he's going to go. He has until Sunday night, but you gotta give us something. Maybe he'll because I think he said he's walking off to the side on Monday, but he didn't actually practice. So
yeah,
it's one of those things. So he's moving around. He's not in crutches or anything like that. So that's a good sign. So we'll see. We'll keep an eye on it. But yeah, we would love to have him for sure. That's definitely a full thing. We want to have him on the field if we possibly can because we definitely would need him against this team. and running the football. In other news, Bud Dupree hadn't practiced at all this week as well with another hamstring issue. Now he's the fourth guy in the pass rush department. But just depth wise, it looked like Kyle Kanawha will probably filling for him if he does not play as well. So we might be missing our third or fourth edge rusher in this game. But the good news is Jamari Saleh came back this week and he's a full participant on Thursday. So I think he's trending towards playing. So that's good news. And we'll get him back at left tackle because man, I can't deal with another week of Deculus or Hart at left tackle. I just can't. It's a revolving door, and I just can't deal with the stress.
I need to address that really quick. What
Please.
the hell were they thinking putting Bobby Hart at left tackle?
They didn't have a choice.
What? Anybody put Trevor Penning at left tackle.
Yeah,
Bobby Hart was not the right move there.
And
if you want to
didn't
put
last long, as you see, because they put Deculus in after him,
and he actually did better.
Right. And not saying much, but it did better than Bobby Hart.
I mean, Bobby Hart literally, again, I was at that Texans game, literally gave up 2 sacks on back-to-back drives on back-to-back third downs. And it's dog.
Going against Danielle Hunter-War Anderson, that's not an easy task, but still. He wasn't even trying, though. I'm not going to give Monique Bell. He wasn't trying at all. It was rough.
It was rough to watch, and obviously, with that game, they get the back-to-back touchdowns off 2 bombs, 2 40-yard plus bombs to start the game, and when that happened, I'm like, oh, we're gonna get absolutely killed if this is what's gonna happen. Obviously, that game played out differently, but yes, bottom line is to say Jamari Sawyer is back. We absolutely need him. Not to say that this Patriots pass rush is vaunted, to say the least.
Oh,
but with the state of the O-line, you need the best guys in there, and Jamari Sawyer has been the best left tackle since all ends. Slater, of course, went down, and it's not even close, really.
Right. So we're looking at Trey Pipkin and Salyer at the tackles, and Zion Becton and Bozeman will be in series. So best as possible we can put out on the field, and that's a good sign. So again, going against this team, this front, I think they can hold it down. Much more with having Salyer at left tackle versus anybody else at this point. But so that's good news. So definitely, some bittersweet news for Amarion, but getting Jamari Saleh back is kind of trading one for the other. But hey, I definitely need Herbert to be protected. So I'm loving that. Dante Jackson was another one as well. We was concerned about his ankle. He was full participant on Thursday, so he should play. He's got a really good track record in our secondary this year, so need him out there. Elijah Molden limited in practice with his hamstring. He's been tweaking. He's been dealing with a hamstring for about several weeks now. So I would like to believe he's just going to be dealing with it at this point. They're just being precautious with him, but hopefully he's out there as well in that 3 safety package between him, Tony Jefferson, Derwin James, and maybe a little bit of RJ Mickens because he's back now. So loving that as well, getting him back on the field finally. So those are probably the most noteworthy ones. Of course, Keenan Allen and Khalil Mack were just resting on Wednesday. They're back.
Typical.
Tucker Fisk, ironically, added some, maybe some juice in the run game from a blocking perspective. He's finally back practicing full, so that's another adage to it. So but I'm outside of that, man. I'm not, overly concerned about it. The only thing really was got my mind wondering is Mario. Outside of that, we're pretty good shape as far as being in week 18, week 19, and we're dealing with a somewhat healthy team.
We haven't really been able to say that all year, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
I was going to say too, to the Dante Jackson point. I read something that he could have come back into that Broncos game if it was a more important game, but obviously, with
just precaution.
Just precaution. So seeing him full practice makes me feel a lot better. Makes me feel like, okay, it really was true what they said, that it wasn't a horrible injury and they just needed to give him a little bit of a rest on Wednesday, obviously with that limited tag. But you already mentioned with Molden, if he plays, if he doesn't, cool. I mean, I love our safety room right now with Derwin, Tony Jefferson, and RJ Mickens. So if Molden's not there, wouldn't be the end of the world, but obviously did give him a little bit of a nice contract this past offseason. You'd like to see him kind of, pay that off in a way.
A little bit, contribute for sure.
Absolutely.
Definitely that. So we'll keep an eye on it, but hopefully we can get most of these guys on the field come Sunday night. All right, so let's talk about keys of victory. Let's talk about the game itself, man. Like I said, I'm very optimistic about this game. I think this matchup is really tailored to this team. I think a lot of people are counting the Chargers out, and I think they feed off that and that comes directly from Harbaugh's energy and his coaching ability and his leadership. So I think, again, because I feel like every time people are really, kind of just, written us off, The Chargers seem to rise into that occasion and come to play. So I'm hoping that'll be the same for this game. And they just play Chargers football to me. In the games they've won this year, they controlled the clock. They've kept the penalties down. They've outgained their opponents in a lot of spaces. So if you can do those things, just win those big three, time possession, penalties, and yards, I think that'll bode well for the game turning in our direction and momentum being in our favor for most of it. And I think that'll be the most important thing and the catalyst is going to propel us to get us this first playoff victory. Secondly, just the internal run game. I think that controlling Milton Williams and Barmore in the interior, we can browbeat the interior O line for their ability to pass protect. But I mean, if they have anything they do decent, it's run block. Just getting big bodies on big bodies and pushing the interior and just running the ball, downhill and leaning on these guys and establishing that line of scrimmage and pushing them back and just ultimately just play physical football. It is a cold weather game and it's tailor-made to run. So yeah, let's get it done and let's live up to our identity.
Yeah, I actually see a lot of Trevor Penning 6 O-line packages in this game.
Yes. And maybe even still to the point where they'll mix and match and flip him and Becton in certain packages too, put Becton on the field at right guard and let him run block as well. But yeah, I definitely believe that he's going to be that 6 O-lineman, between him, Matlock or Fisk, depending on what they want to use. And just trying to get things, flowing downhill off the edges, off tackles, the trap game, things of that nature, those duo runs. So just get it going downhill. If it's Vidal or Hampton, whoever it is, if we can get 100 yards out of those guys, either together or one or the other, then I think I like our chances in a running game perspective.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think this is also going to be, and I know, we had kind of harped on this a little bit when the injury to Herbert's hand was still a little bit more fresh. But now I think you're a little bit, more removed from that surgery. He obviously rested last week against the Broncos. So I really do expect Herbert to have a one or two couple of big runs here, like he's been known to have in these games previously. He may end the game with like 30 or 40 rushing yards and 30 of them come on one run, but it's a breakout massive run. He did it against the Texans, did it against the Cowboys, did it against the Chiefs earlier in the game to seal, or in the year to seal that game week 1 in Brazil. So yeah, I really do think it's going to be a Herbert. I don't want to say a Herbert rushing attack because obviously I don't want him leading this team in rushing in this game. That's a recipe for disaster if that's the case. But if Herbert is active with his legs and he's picking up key first downs here or there, even when he's not picking up first downs, just on those plays that break down, able to get outside the pocket and pick up 4 or 5, much, much better than taking a sack for a negative loss or, something worse. So I think, we say it every week with this guy, the Big Ten right here, but this has got to be a Herbert game, man. You're coming in with a chip on your shoulder. Last 2 playoff games have obviously knock on well, one with, attribute a little bit more to coaching with that epic collapse against Jacksonville and the Houston game where it was just a rough matchup and Herbert trying to do a little bit too much in key situations. But I really like the state of this team. And yeah, like you mentioned, this the big 3, time of possession, which is something the Chargers have been dominant at all year long. Penalties, we've actually been pretty decent in penalties as well. We're not a heavily penalized team, and that was a little bit of a concern earlier in the year. We obviously attribute that to coaching, so good to see that the coaching staff has really turned that down a little bit. And yeah, the yards, like you mentioned, rushing yards, man. This has to be, if Herbert is to set Herbert up for the most success in this game, it's going to be getting the ball and being successful in the ground game to open up that play action, open up some of these zones for these wide receivers. Because, QJ, just like we said, man, gets better and better, and he's gotten better each year he's been in the league. Loud, we know what he brings. Keenan, third and Keenan. I mean, and then Gadsden, I think Gadsden's going to be a very big, wild card piece, haha, pun intended, in this matchup against those linebackers, especially if Robert Spillane isn't coming back. I think Gadsden could be somebody that Herbert targets early and often.
I like it. Yes, indeed. Yeah. I think, let's say it all predicated on the run game, and that'll open up the pass game. And we have the receivers to do it. And if I know Mike Vrabel like I know Mike Vrabel, I got a feeling that he doesn't have the I guess you can say the expertise at corner outside of Gonzalez that the Texans have, but he's going to try early in this game to play man coverage. So that's not only will bode well for getting our like some route runners like Keenan Allen, Lad McConkey, isolated on man coverage and getting them open. But if you turn your back on Herbert and run with those receivers, he can take off to your point and run and get some big gains and get some big first downs. And I'm sure he's not going to really be caring about the hand too much. It's put up or shut up,
Yep.
You can just worry about the hand after the game as long as we get a victory. So I think he's going to be motivated and doing whatever he needs to do to get this victory. So I do believe that he will be the X factor in this game for sure. I definitely share that sentiment with you.
Herbert was stiff arming Muv because with that broken hand, man, he doesn't care at all. That dude lays it all out,
bro. No F's given. He don't care, man. That's my guy. Yeah, but turning over to the defensive side, I think pressure on Drake May early and often. Getting after him with the three-headed rush monster, Khalil Mack, Tuli Tulipilopu, and Ode Owe, and just getting after him.
Odafe Owe.
I always mess that up. Odafe Owe. Odafe Owe, getting after him, pressuring him, spying him a little bit with an Owe, because with that foot speed, just to keep him corralled in the pocket and, sack him, get him off his spot, make him uncomfortable early. His first playoff game. I think that will bode well for them, stymieing their offense as well. So, yeah, I like that. It's funny, too. We're facing Josh McDaniels for the first time in a good while. Since he's been a Patriot, when he's back with the Patriots back in the day. That's an interesting tidbit, too, that I didn't realize until now. But, yeah, that'll be interesting to see how Josh McDaniels wants to coach against Jesse Minter's defense. He hadn't seen it much. So it should be a good one.
And Josh is a great OC too. I mean, they're both great, great coordinators. Josh is a great OC for all his transgressions as a head coach. I think we can all agree he is a damn good offensive coordinator. And same with Minter. I mean, Minter is going to be getting head coaching opportunities or interviews, I should say, probably during these playoffs. But this is the time, man, because you might lose Minter next year. So you got to go as far as you can, put together a little bit of a run here, and try to convince him, like, hey, we're building something here, man. Why don't you stick around and be around for it?
Right. It's some lucrative jobs out there, man. So we'll see. But yeah, it will. But definitely take advantage of it while you got them. I definitely agree with you there. So yeah, and then talking about Jesse Minter, changing the picture and coverages, disguising, make it not clear and obvious to what you're running against May, make him confused, make him hold the ball, and maybe we'll, cause a few turnovers in that space. Like I said, just make them nervous. And I guess one little tidbit of noteworthiness that they like to do in their pass game is just cover the backs. Trevion Henderson and Ramondre Stevenson had a field day in the last couple of weeks catching the ball out the backfield. So you got to corral them and get them covered up in man coverage. So Dayon and sometimes he even had Owe covering backs out the backfield with his foot.
Hey.
So, hey, if you're 6'5", 4'3", you can run with the back. Why not? Can't throw over him. So, yeah, why not do it in certain spaces, a few schematic changes in coverage. So, yeah, I'm liking that as well. So, just keep those backs corralled and keep May corralled. I think we'll be in prime position to win this football game, man. But yeah, getting into, do you have any other keys that you want to add before we talk about predictions?
Not so much a key, but just kind of a little stat I wanted to throw out. You mentioned at the beginning of the show, you're talking about, they haven't really been a little bit of a cupcake schedule, to put it like that for the Patriots this year. They've only played in their 17-game season this year. They only played against 3 playoff teams, obviously one of them being the Bills, which they played twice. So a total of 4 games against playoff teams, and they're 2-2. Yes. They lost to the Bills one time, obviously split with the Bills, and then, had that 5 turnover game versus the Steelers, which was kind of like a little bit of an anomaly. So, Ramondre Stevenson, he's been known to fumble, like you mentioned with the pressure. If we're able to get to Drake May early and often, I think that can kind of get into his head a little bit. You don't want this to be a situation like it was in Houston, where you're off to such a hot start and you only have like a 6 or 7 point lead to show for it. Like you have a couple of turnovers, things like that. So Chargers are absolutely going to have to capitalize on their opportunities that they get. This Patriots Patriots defense, I should say, is not great in the red zone. They give up, once you get into the red zone, you almost assuredly get a touchdown just with the way that their defense has been playing. But their specialty is not letting you get to the end zone, whereas Minter's is a bend, don't break. They let you drive the length of the field and just hold you to a field goal. The Patriots is, I don't want to say break and then bend, but you know what I mean? they
though, yes. Yeah, I agree with you there. Yeah, so that's interesting stat, and you're right. Again, and I think this is probably the second best quarterback they're going to face this year, period. Josh Allen twice, and that's pretty much it because they faced a lot of, second and third string quarterbacks, in that stretch too. So yeah, I think this should be in it for a rude awakening. We just got to handle business, man. That's really what it boils down to.
By the way, that third playoff team that the Patriots played this year was the Panthers. so
you to the playoffs.
Yeah.
8-9, exactly.
Take that for what it's worth.
Exactly, and they lost to the Steelers, mind you. So there you go. All right, so let's talk about predictions, man. Who wins and why, man? What do you feel like the score is going to be? Of course, it's the Chargers podcast. We're gonna, I like how you do sometimes you give a biased take and an honest take. So if you have one of those, please give it to us. If not, I'm just going to, give my honest opinion because you already said at the top of the show we winning. That's what I said. Yeah, I'm going to it.
Yeah, for me, I'll give you the biased take first. I think the Chargers win this game in a bit of a shootout. I think it'll be like a 27-24 type game. I think Herbert against that pass rush, or I should say maybe the lack of pass rush, getting Jamari Sawyer back. I mean, we've seen Herbert work wonders with way less and against much better competition. I think Herbert, again, that Texans game, I think he played more than well enough to win that game. And there was just, some key drops here and there, some missed kicks and whatnot. But yeah, I really do think as long as the Chargers play some clean football, like you said, keep that time of possession going, don't turn the ball over, score in the opportunities that you're given, I think they should come away with a win here. It's going to be a tough one. Don't get me wrong. This team, the Patriots team is high flying. They can put up points on you. So it's going to potentially be a little bit about weathering the storm in the beginning and then kind of, bucking up and grittying up when it matters towards the end. For my non-biased take or my real take, however you want to say it, man, I want to say Chargers still win, but again, it's just those, past trauma coming back to kind of haunt me a little bit. Those wounds from last year and the years, prior are still a little bit fresh. So in that sense, I would say the Patriots win this game. And my argument for that would just be this Chargers O-line is so banged up. And although the Patriots aren't great at getting pressure, just given the state of the O-line, they are going to get pressure. I mean, the Jags are a team, that doesn't get pressure, get sacks on the quarterback often, and they look like a damn all-pro D-line against us when we faced them in week 13 or something, I think it was. So, yeah, it might have been earlier than that. But yeah, I do think that the Patriots, this is not going to be a walk in the park for either team, to say the least. Whoever wins this game, they are going to earn it, and they are going to be deserving of a win. So yeah, I'm very, very excited, very anxious.
Right. I got you. Yeah, I'm just gonna ride with the fact that we're gonna win a game, man. I'm looking at it from a 24-17, maybe 24-20 game. In this stretch, I really compare this game to the Dallas game, in a sense where they have really good interior D line, but their edges aren't great. Which kind of plays to the idea if we have good pass pro from our running backs in the interior to keep the D line from getting to Herbert early, he can kind of get around or move towards the edge of the pocket or step up into the pocket and deliver the ball downfield. I think we'll have success because again, I think outside of Christian Gonzalez, their defensive secondary can be had. Clearly they're great. They're well coached on both sides. Vrabel's a great coach, so is McDaniel. Not taking anything away from them at all in that space, but just based upon our track record and how we face some stiffer competition throughout the year and we've been able to prevail in a lot of those spaces. Hell, we beat both Super Bowl teams from a year ago. That's just to tell you ugly games, but we and better defenses, and we gutted it out. So I think that I think if the Chargers do what they have done all year and play to their strengths, they should win the ball game. So I'm looking at a 7 to maybe 4 point victory at the very minimum. So we'll see.
So what you're saying is take Chargers plus 3.5.
Yeah, you're a betting man or woman, take Chargers plus 3.5. Absolutely. All day.
Oh man. We please bet responsibly.
Yes.
Don't bet what you're not able to lose. Don't bet what you aren't prepared to lose. And enjoy these games. Bet responsibly. There's our little disclaimer for the show.
If you have any problems gambling, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Yes.
Yes.
Put it in the description at the end of this video.
Indeed. All right. But yeah, man. So we'll be back, to cover this game, win, lose, or draw. But I'm saying win. We're gonna get things done, and we're gonna face the Broncos in the divisional round and go back to Mile High and rectify that JV loss that we gave them in the last week of the season. So yeah. So hopefully we'll be riding high, energy be high. We'll get back to you for our recap video after the wildcard game is up, man. But LG, you got any final words before we get out of here?
Bolt up, baby, as always. I'm gonna be watching, repping my Navy Herbert jersey I just got for Christmas this past year. So let's do it, boys. Let's prove everybody wrong. Let's shock the world.
Indeed. So yes, if you're looking for the Lecture Shop podcast in Need Space, Need Time, we're on all platforms that our social media are like YouTube. Please hit that subscribe button on YouTube algorithm to help us grow our channel. We're on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook, as well as Gmail. Hit us up and follow us on all our spaces. And like I said, we'll be back for our recap video after the game. So in the meantime, between time, that is Young RG. I am Coach Divas, and as always, you got to do one thing and one thing well. You always got to remember to boat up.